Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for promising my GF that I will help her with her loan, but now I am backing out because she cheated on me? I, 23M, been together my GF, 24F, for almost 4 years. She was my first GF. I loved her way too much, and TBH, I still love her somewhat. We were school friends. My GF in early 2024 said that she wants to apply for masters, and she asked me if I could help her. I instantly agreed cause back then I thought she would become my wife and I should support her. So I asked my father if he could help fund my GF's education. My father is quite successful and he agreed, but he said he won't give her the money, but she should take a loan and he will cover up 60 to 70% of monthly payments, and my GF's family and my family agreed. But 3 months ago my GF cheated on me. She came to me and said that she had made a huge mistake. She got drunk in a party and kissed some other man, and they oraled at each other and had sex for a while in my own fucking car. I was devastated. I loved her so much and I forgave her, or I pretended it. I was in depression since then, but I hid it from her and everyone. She apologized to me and said she fucked up and she wanted to come clean and apologize to me and didn't want to hide it from me. I told her that I forgive her, and she and her family took the loan. Call me petty or vengeful, but I was so hurt I didn't feel good about my partner is sleeping around and expects me to forgive her while seeking financial help from me just because my father is rich. Fuck that. So a few days ago I told her that I am breaking up with her and she won't get any more financial help from us. She freaked out and said, "Why am I acting like this?" and she thought I forgave her, but I just left. I told my father everything and he didn't even comfort me, just told me that I have learned a lesson and this is why he asked them to take a loan instead of just giving them money. I was kinda upset. But now she and her family are saying if I was going to leave her I should have left. I shouldn't have been petty and vengeful to the point I would ruin her life just cause she cheated, and told me that they will sue us. When I told my father, he said if they want to go to court they can, but they'll just ruin their finances even more, let them waste their money on their loan and court fees. They don't have any proof, it was just verbal agreement. Now I realized that no matter how rude my father is to me, he always cared for me and thought of me. He helped my partner, but even planned in case I get betrayed, and he loves me. But I kinda feel bad for my GF, who is now my ex, and I feel like I went too far in my anger. What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for declining a wedding invite that didn't include a +1 for my wife? A buddy, 42M, from high school is getting married in May. My, 42M, invitation did not include a +1 for my wife, 41F. In talking to his younger brother, 39M, who I'm also friends with, I learned it's not a small wedding. Their guest list is well north of 250 people. They work in sales and have made many contacts and decided with some friends they would not extend the +1 as a way to reach as many friends/coworkers/acquaintances as possible for their event. I have no issue with this. Neither does my wife. She didn't care either way. Happy to go if invited, but won't lose sleep if not attending. My friend and his fiancée have been to our house for at least 2 dinner parties I recall, a kid's birthday party and a couple barbecue relaxing days on the deck testing out the smoker. The women get along very well and have never had a crossword. This is simply an issue of wanting to touch as many different people as possible, and omitting the +1s for some guests allows this. Makes sense. I RSVP'd no to the wedding. I just like to go to weddings as a couple. This isn't a control thing or a respect thing. I just know weddings are a long, all-day affair and I don't have a million 10-minute conversations with strangers in me anymore. I'd prefer to mingle a bit, talk with friends and family we know, eat with her, dance a lot with her, and celebrate their special day. The reception is also about an hour away, so after drinking a bit at weddings, we usually would get a room locally and Uber there. My buddy was not happy, to say the least. I told him what I just typed and said I wish them all the best. I understand exactly why they're doing no plus ones, with no objection, and we would still send a gift despite not attending. He didn't care, continued to get further agitated. After being pushed harder, I told him, for such a bright guy, I can't see how he didn't see that some people would give regrets to this. This is where he hung up on me, lol. Talking to my dad, who has known him for 28 years, and met his fiancée as well, he said his anger may be that he's getting far more declines than they expected and is lashing out. He's a buddy I've had for years, but not my best friend. When our lives went in separate directions, we amicably fell out for about 10 years up until recent. Let's not pretend my presence is vital to their wedding here. Am I wrong to decline? Should I have just attended alone, as I don't have a hard reason why I can't attend, like a conflict of times with another event? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for telling my wife to divorce me because I'm not forcing adoption on my daughter? I, 33 have an 8-year-old daughter Ella with my ex, and I have full custody of her. I'm married to Laura, 30F, and we have 2 kids together. Ella's mom is a train wreck, alcohol, drugs, multiple arrests, and a lot of personal issues. She has not seen Ella for around a year now. She did have supervised visits ordered by the court, but she didn't always make those due to hospitalizations, arrests, and such. I've been dating Laura since Ella was 2. So she's very familiar with Laura. But she doesn't call her mom, and she still loves her mom and wishes her mom would get better and be a real mom to her. I have her in therapy to help her process everything. Laura knew how things were when we started dating, and she knew how it was when we got married. I always made it clear that my priority was Ella's safety, health, and happiness, and I told her I understood if it got to be too much and she didn't want to commit. But she said she was on board for it all. Only now she's tired of my ex reappearing every so often, and she wants to adopt Ella so my ex can't have any access ever again. She does love Ella and sees her as hers just as much as mine. But the main reason she's being so forceful is severing my ex's rights would get her out of the picture until Ella's 18 and chooses to look for her mom on her own. Laura says this is what's best for her and for all of us. But Ella doesn't want to be adopted by Laura. Even if her mom never gets better, she doesn't want to be adopted. I respect this and I won't force it. But Laura isn't happy. She said we have the other 2 kids to think of as well, and how Ella might pull away from us if her mom causes more trouble in the future. She might choose her over us. I said that could happen even if she adopts her. And I said it will definitely happen if we force this. Laura and I have discussed this numerous times now, and she told me she doesn't see our marriage surviving if I won't talk Ella around or let her do it, or get a therapist who will. She said she will not keep being just a stepmom when Ella's mom won't put her first, while she has been and doesn't get the benefit of legal stability of adoption. She said I only had 2 options and needed to decide which I wanted. I told her to divorce me then because I'm not forcing the adoption on Ella. Laura didn't expect my answer, and she told me she thought I'd offer to speak to Ella more. That I clearly don't care about our marriage. I said I do, but she gave me 2 options and 1 option never happening. And I can't control if she divorces me for it. Am I the bad person? Can't wrap my head around that story. What do you think? Who is in the wrong there? Let us know down in the comments section, and let's move on to our last case. Case 4. Am I the bad person for grounding my daughter and canceling her senior trip after I found out she was cheating on her boyfriend? I have 2 daughters, Lizzie, 17F, and Mackenzie, 14F. Their dad and I divorced a few years ago after I discovered he was having an affair. I have the kids most of the time, and their dad has them every weekend and during the summers. Lizzie has been dating Jacob, 18M, for over a year now. Jacob is constantly at our house. He's a sweet, good young man, and I believe he'll be valedictorian of their class. However, a few weeks ago, I overheard Lizzie on the phone with a guy, clearly flirting. At first, I thought it was Jacob, but then I heard her say, Brandon. I realized she was talking to someone else. Then a week later, she mentioned to me that she was heading out to hang with a friend, and when I looked out the window, I saw her get into a car and greet a guy with a kiss. It wasn't Jacob. Even after that, Jacob continued to come over, hanging out with Lizzie. He and Lizzie still acted like a couple, holding hands, laughing, and spending time together, just like they always had. I felt disgusted knowing my daughter was being a two-timer. After Jacob left that day, I confronted my daughter. I asked her point blank, "Are you cheating on your boyfriend with another guy?" She said it was none of my business and that her personal life was hers only. I told her she was wrong and that I raised her better than to treat people like this. She told me she was bored with Jacob and that Brandon was more her type now. I told her that if she wasn't happy, she should just break up with Jacob. She said she didn't know if she wanted to be with Brandon or if she was just having fun flirting and teasing. I told her cheating was unacceptable and wrong, and as a consequence, I grounded her. I also told her she wasn't allowed to go on her senior trip with her friends. She obviously did not take that too well and has been at her dad's place for the last couple of days. My ex-husband called me, saying I was being unreasonable not letting her go on the trip and that her and Jacob was just a high school thing. He then told me I needed to put my bitterness aside and stop punishing his daughter. I told him I was teaching our daughter right from wrong and that actions have consequences. You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.